And we, in such exercises, we will discuss about different perspectives. And as a basic introduction, you should think to maritime coaching by default like a pillar for stability. It's like an offshore rig that should provide you stability. But the question is, how can we find our own maritime coach if we don't have such a coach on board vessel? So maritime coaching involves many things, from motivation, from development goals, from certain skills that the person that pretends to be a coach should have. Also involves a lot of supporting and advice, but especially from my point of view, I would like to stress that since kindergarten, since childhood, we were all surrounded by coaches, but probably we did not just realize that. So a coach can be someone that is there for you, assist you in many things, in many ways. A coach can be a parent, a coach can be a teacher, but of course, such cases should be analyzed because not everybody understands they have such coaching attitudes, and nobody thinks and analyzes their coaching attitudes that should be further developed. So I have prepared for you a short, very short exercise on coaching, and I'm inviting you to look at this image. It is an image where you find what? You should tell me, what do you see in this image? Maybe you girls, can you help me?
I think we're getting some responses in the chat as well. Peace, light, calm, sunrise.
Oh, that's so great. Okay, thank you very much for your interaction. But what about this image? So what do you see here? What are your feelings looking at this image?
I can share that I see a party.
Oh, yes.
I imagine a party on the boat.
Sounds great, but please focus a bit on the environment. Okay, calm. Yes. You see a lot of calm environment, indeed. Well, the exercise is about different perspectives, because if you would carefully compare the first image, this one, with the second image, you would understand that this first image is a perception of someone that is on shore, and the second image is taken by someone who is on a vessel, someone who is offshore. Therefore, we have different perspectives, and from these different perspectives, our thoughts are different. Therefore, a maritime coach should take into account such different perspectives and should understand better this very calm attitude, obviously outside storms and bad wind, also this calm attitude, but also the coach should understand that there is such a huge amount of water, and sometimes you just sail and sail and there is no ship around you, and there is always this close environment for 6 months, like our friend told us, for 8 months, 10 months now with the pandemic. And of course, we love to be surrounded by calm, but I'm just wondering, sometimes maybe too much calm, is it good or not? This would be my first exercise about sharing perspectives and thinking to multiple perspectives. The second exercise would be an exercise that I would apply with my students. It is called turning the life raft. And you can see here all the perspectives of this exercise, like what material you would need, what equipment, a life raft, or else if you don't have a life raft, you can imagine and use something similar to a life raft. It can be flattened if you are in an inner space, such as the classroom. The life raft does not need to be complete or operative. The space, a closed environment, can be inside the classroom, inside a training room, on board vessel, or in open space on a deck. The duration of the exercise should be about 30 minutes, and the people, the trainees, the coaches, will be involved in turn deck the life raft. Everyone on the group should stand on, and the group aim is to flip the life raft over in the fastest time. Nobody must step off the life raft. If anyone put their foot on floor, the experience must be repeated. And such kind of exercise can be redesigned in different conditions, depending on the condition. But the key coaching understanding is the following. The coaches should focus on teamworking and on collaboration. Listening and questioning between the students is also desirable thing to do, and also discussing and integration of different ideas and different perspectives. Final, the open question will be addressed to the group. Did anyone view the life raft task as impossible? How did team members try to keep everyone on the life raft? And eventually, did the group cheat in order to make the exercise successful? So this would be in large lines my exercises for you now. And I would also like to share you some other things to think about, like the crossroad choices. You see here two types of crossroads. Often in life, we meet crossroads that make us follow a certain choice, a certain decision. And in general, these moments are so difficult that we desperately need someone to guide us, whether it's God, whether it's a friend, either is a colleague, a family member. So we must identify a person to talk to. And if on board vessel we don't have such a friend to talk to, then just follow up Alexandra's tip, Alexandra's exercise. Take a sheet of paper and start writing. And finally, I will share with you a secret of success in case of coaching. Don't just accumulate knowledge. We are so happy you are here today with us, and you accumulate knowledge, very useful knowledge. We are also hoping you will attend other seminars, other webinars, and other educational programs to accumulate knowledge. But what you should understand is that you should think how to use your knowledge in order to do action, in order to create concrete results. Thank you for now for your attention, and I pass the floor again to Alexandra.
Thank you so much. And that actually comes very as a really great connection to my next exercises in the following pillars, because we have been talking about the first one, which was emotional and mental health. And another type of struggle that we have identified and that you have mentioned as well. And we're going to talk about those tips on connection and listening. We have seen that work and life balance is also very important to maintain, of course. And when it comes to being on sea, that means that you are away from your family for a long time, which means that you are inclining the balance more towards work, and that's when it can become more stressful. So it's important to make sure that you find ways to cope with this situation and to relax that stress and that tension that comes with missing your dear ones, or from having different news coming from home, and so on. Now, the way that I like to look at this is integration, work-life integration instead of balance. Why integration? Because when we talk about balance, we see these two pieces as very separate. But how can we integrate them? Very many times we try to put on a mask when we are working, and we try to put our emotions aside, but it's inevitable because we're not robots, so we will have emotions. So if there is something going on in our life, in our personal life, then of course we will not have such a good day, and we will feel less called to do our work. We will feel maybe slower when we do our tasks, and of course it has an impact on us. So why do we need to find ways to cope with that? Because we have to integrate these two aspects. Now let's look at some techniques that we can use when it comes to this work-life integration and understanding these emotions and how they are integrated between our personal life and our professional lives. And one way is, of course, to be more understanding and kind with each other. So in all interactions that we have with the other crew members, we try to see the way that we are right. Yeah, we feel that we are always right and the other person is wrong. But so many times it's not a personal conflict, it's just something that the other person is going through. So just keep in mind that everyone you talk to, everyone that you interact with, even on a daily basis, you might not even know what type of battle they are fighting and what is going on in their personal life. And they might be going through something that you don't know anything about. So just remember to be kind and understanding all the time. It's something that we can learn to cultivate more in all the aspects of our lives, to be more kind, to be more inclined to allow people to be vulnerable and to share what they're going through. And this leads me to the next way, to the next tip that you can also implement. And it means that, even when you don't have a coach on board, or when you don't have necessarily a way to connect with the people who are at home, you want to communicate how you feel. This is where that integration comes into place. Find someone in your team to talk to, or offer your time to listen to someone who is going through a hard time. Like I was saying earlier, you don't know what the other person is going through, and you might see that they are struggling. They might not be in the same good mood that you see them all the time. So create that safe space for them to open up and to share and ask questions. Be genuinely curious and interested about what they're going through, and be there for them. This is where you practice that presence as well. In coaching, we talk about that as being an active listening, because we want to create that space where the people in front of us are open to share whatever it is. As coaches, we don't guide you, we allow you to find that guidance. So you can also use this technique. You can ask the other person, how are you feeling? Do you want to talk about it? And then carry on with that conversation. Perhaps you notice that you are going through something similar, or maybe you have gone through something similar, and you want to share that with them to establish that emotional bond. You know that any conversation is an exchange of stories, so you might want to share something as well. But make sure that you don't take away the spotlight from the story of the person who is sharing first. Take turns in sharing, take turns in opening up, and make sure that you are there for them. Sometimes they may not even need advice or recommendations, they just need someone to listen.